idea? Lake or old car? Or just standing in the middle of the woods freezing my wiener off?
I think old car.
Old car? Yeah, let's go. I'm feeling old car, too. Sketchy. All right. Should just kick it here?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm always so weary of like snakes. There's no snakes. It's so snowy. Like wasps, too snowy. Just wild animal. So. Start. Let's see. Oh my God. That thing might get shredded, dude. You better watch out.
My way or the highway, born a diamond, die a spade. My way, learn as you go. Sun might shine, but you never know. Sadly, not everything grows. My eyes open at last, blinded finally, free from my past. Oh, freedom, yeah, my, what a word. Say it proudly, never be heard. Sadly, not everything grows. My love, blind as a bat, wear it proudly, never look back. Yeah, tumble, grasp as you go. In the darkness, you are the glow. Now I know, now I know, now I know that everything grows. Yeah, everything grows.
As long as I've been recording audio, I've been doing it to tape. You know, initially it was just the cheapest and easiest way I could figure out how to record myself. And you know, there's always arguments about digital versus analog and what sounds better and blah, blah, blah. But for me, it always just comes down to the process of actually working with it. Tape itself is just really unforgiving. You either have to nail the performance or learn to cleverly cut it out, or you have to allow the imperfections to be part of the beauty of whatever it is that you're making.
The only way that I've ever really been able to write is by recording myself and listening back to it. I usually always write music before because I guess it's in the same way that I learned it all. It's like first I learned to just play guitar and then you learn to play guitar without thinking about it, which feels great, where your hands are suddenly doing smarter things than your brain does. You know, where suddenly your hand is kind of moving independently. Yeah.
Damn, son.
John!
Okay.
You came in just in time for some piercing.
Okay. Oh, I'm up.
And then the best parts about it, like when it's tape, you just have to choose one. You don't know if it's gonna get better. And sometimes when you do digital takes of stuff, once I got into like recording digital stuff and you save like 15 different takes of the same thing, eventually you have no idea which one's good. You know, it's like too many options can sort of be creative murder sometimes.
Now, for a long time, I've fantasized about upgrading to one of the big 24-track, 2-inch tape machines. You know, and when you get to that point, it couldn't be more different than a cassette 4-track. I mean, the tape is expensive. It's been on this planet longer than I have. It's hard to work on, very few people know how to even service it, and it weighs like 600 pounds. But it seemed like my time had finally come because I found one of these machines for sale, and it was located on the way to our first show in San Francisco. So I figured we would swing by and pick it up, and then we could drop it off at our studio at the end of tour with the rest of our gear. But while we have it, why don't we use it to record the shows every night to tape? How hard could it be? How hard could it be? Be.
Toil. It's time to toil. Let's say you guys are amazingly brave to go out here and bring this machine out and do your thing. I mean, it's really
pretty wild.
To taking a risk and doing something different.
Got to try something different.
I mean, usually these are not meant to be moved around.
Of course, a 40-year-old machine's gonna have some issues. Yeah, I mean, some things you would expect right away. I mean, before we got this thing, I'm thinking, okay, the wheels are gonna be bad. We got it, the wheels were bad. All these things are gonna happen. It's bouncing around in the back of a trailer across the country. Something's gonna break.
How long did you sit with the guy, Craig? Did he kind of give you as much of a run through? I'm assuming he did.
Not much, man.
Really?
This is the first time anyone's ever brought
I figured that as soon as people saw this tape machine, you know, at the very least, it's a giant, expensive prop, because what we were actually doing was unifying this idea of, you know, this recording space that we're working on.
Scrap the tape machine. We don't need it.
No.
We sort of actually took our studio, Hello Gorgeous, on the road with us and let you see what it feels like when you press record and all the lights turn red. And it's showtime.
Let's do it.
I had some homies that came to the show, so they wanted to say hi.
Nice. How were they doing?
They were doing great. They really enjoyed the show. They had a good time. A great time. They've seen a few other shows, and both said that this was their favorite sort of iteration.
It's always been that for me, live performance is kind of the final battleground of working a song out. You know, I'll have something that I think I've nailed, or a tune that I think I really know, and then as soon as I bring it into a room with an audience, it sometimes just takes off on its own.
Maybe a little flop.
You could be on the end?
And that was kind of the point of this whole tour, was to let an audience in while the songs were still young and malleable. And for us, it was really exciting and terrifying because we were constantly changing things up. You know, we would change the set list, or where we would sit on stage, or, you know, we would throw in songs we've never played or songs that no one's ever heard because we literally just wrote them.
Yeah.
Trial and error, my man.
And so, you know, each night is like, is it gonna work? You know, is it gonna work? And on one side, that can allow a lot of great things to happen. You know, a lot of magic can get in, a lot of unplanned moments, and you have to be really present. And then on the other side of the coin, it just means that everything can go absolutely haywire at any moment. You can really fall on your ass. You know, eventually, things are bound to go wrong somehow.
It's gonna be worth it!
Poop on the bus?
Always. No peeing on the bus allowed, only pooping.
Those aren't the rules, Pat.
Look at these LA hipsters.
No power.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Good thing it's an acoustic show.
Well, essentially night 4, but actually day 2 of moving the reel-to-reel tape. It's going fine. Honestly, it's going a lot easier than I think all of us had thought or hoped. And the only thing we're worried about now is kind of typical LA. You get here and beautiful weather, things are going nice, and then we find out there's no power to the venue, so we don't have an elevator. It's 2 flights of stairs. It's a lot of gear. It's Craig and I trying to make magic happen with a lot of madness. But it's good. Right now is called, what do we call it?
Best part of the day.
Yeah, best part of the day. There's 2 best parts of the day. It's when we load it in and load it out. That's what it's all about. Yeah, when you get to unload tables and tape machines and things that are like household items, it's like you start to wonder, maybe I should just stay in New York and become a full-time mover, because I can do it. I can do it the best with the best of them. I had heard a big pop, bang, and then I peeked my head inside and saw everybody running back over here to the tape machine, and then Ollie, I kind of saw him in the doorway over here, and he's like, the tape machine blew up, and I was like, what? He's like, yeah.
Things that we expected to go wrong have, it's old. The big thing that happened in LA was the transport died. I was plugging it in, and there was a big pop and a bunch of smoke in my face. And
is everybody down? Was it expected? Is everybody kind of like...
I wouldn't say it was like down. It was more like, well, how do we fix it? And that's why we tour with Craig, We have guys like Craig that tour with us that can not necessarily fix a 60-year-old machine, but he can fix find people to help fix it. And then also he's very, very good at figuring methods, with the knowledge that he does have about electricity and, how components work on a 60-year-old machine versus, nowadays. But that's why everybody, when I told them we were doing this, they're like, there's tape emulators out there that sound just as good as those machines, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, I do know that. But it's like, that's not what I was asked to do on the tour.
it's the capacitor for the 24 volts. It's not getting 24 volts, so gonna replace that, go from there.
That's great.
Hopefully that's just it.
Welcome, scan your knees with us. Life's too short for business. Lunch, come scan your knees with us. Life's too short for business. Lunch, come scan your knees with us. Life's too short for business. Lunch.
Fair enough.
Everything was very slow. Everything started at the right tempo and then stopped being at the right tempo.
Yeah, drummer, bro. You
was
like boom, boom, boom.
I think you just gotta be taking the reins a little bit and pushing
I'm trying to follow him.
No, I know, but don't follow him. That's what I'm saying. That's like Bizlunch in particular started like
It was-
and like the last person just like
You're the last person every round. Good night, fellas.
Oh, there he goes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
it's kind of dark when you're there.
Yeah, walrus options. Should have like big hands to use tonight, just fold hands and
sucked hard. It just sucked.
It's a weird vibe.
No, it's just kind of a losing. It's just kind of a losing game for us tonight. And then, yeah, the tape machine broke.
So how do you fix that?
Keep working. Usually, there's gonna be a lot of changes. Not a lot. Not a lot.
Now I'm tired. I'm ready for bed. The scoop is gotta figure out bass tomorrow. I'm a little annoyed. You have these shows sometimes where you think everything is like perfect in a way where it's like, oh, it's like we set it up, it looks cool, and then the show starts and you're like, oh, everything's too short and the bass isn't working right. But yeah, go from there. On to onward and upwards.
I mean, in general, I guess all art is sort of just proof of life. It's all just a sort of shouting into the void that you exist. You know, I'm here and I did this. And there's always like a strange longing where you want to be a part of it more. You know, like some movie that you love and you sort of are like, the only way I could love this more is if I was, if I really was the character in it or something. But in a way you feel like you are, or you have something, you share a joke, or, you know, I go out of my way to try and sort of create these strange experiences because just kind of sleepwalking through playing music isn't that fun. You know, just, I mean, fun's not even the right way to put it, but like showing up and being like, hey, here's some songs, bye, thanks, and going home, it's like, you know, what's the point?
It is, yeah, it's more of a gamble, you know, especially since we're not in a real studio environment where you can critically listen to what you're doing as you're doing it. So we just hit record and hope that it works, and it's been working pretty well, you know. We've had to avoid channels and kind of go back and forth and find the good ones. But it is, you know, that is a little more nerve-wracking than, you know, if it's an amazing performance but you're not 100% positive you're going to capture it correctly. Whereas with digital, it's too easy. You know, so that's exciting. I mean, it's stressful, but it's exciting.
I wouldn't expect you to pay your own money and come watch me ungratefully hop around stage. I don't think that's where the point or the heart of it all is. You know, it's at its best, it's these things that like you can't really put a price on. It doesn't matter how expensive or heavy or strange it is, if it really creates that moment or that memory or that environment in which you find actual joy in your life, then that's it. That's the recipe.
grown in the city. Death to disco, fuck the hippies. Their camels don't taste right to me. They must have changed the recipe. Yeah, none of this tastes right to me. They must have changed the recipe. So suddenly a beggar down on King Street, trying hard to tune my E string, singing we're not gonna take it for $1 in a jar. I only know the chorus, but it's gotten me this far. Yeah, none of this tastes right to me. They must have changed the recipe. Yeah, this life don't taste right to me. They must have changed the recipe. Oh. Yeah, we're not gonna take it. Oh no, we ain't gonna take it. Yeah, we're not gonna take it anymore. Sing with me. Yeah, we're not gonna take it. Oh no, we ain't gonna take it. Yeah, we're not gonna take it anymore.
Our dude Cesar had basically one of these but furrier on a mic, and Zephyr ran up, and he like, oh, Mike the dog, and the dog he came up and like sniffed it twice and ripped it clean off, and just laughed. And we were like, oh, right.
But then like a half an hour later, we're looking at the dog's toy pile.
There's a toy pile by the door, and it was newly installed.
With the other toys. Cesar like scrambled out there and grabbed it.
It was a highlight.
I said that's mine now, dude.
Did he capture the